All right, welcome back. Video number 3 for February Faith Formation. We are going to talk now about the ways that we can work on becoming better people and becoming more holy and more worthy during the Lenten season. So the first way that we do that is by fasting. So fasting means that you are giving up, you are abstaining, you are avoiding, you are not participating in something. Fasting usually makes people think of food, and that's definitely like the most common way that it's used. But you can also fast from activities, you can fast from listening to music, you can fast from watching TV, you can fast from drinking. If you're old, if you're a parent, you can fast from drinking alcohol. You can fast from eating fast food. You can fast from gossiping at school. All of these things. So during Lent, we have 3 pillars of Lent is what they're called. And the first pillar we want to talk about is fasting. So on Ash Wednesday, we fast. We do not eat meat on Ash Wednesday. Also, if you have had your first sacraments already, you should try to also fast from big meals. So typically, you would eat 1 large meal that day, like a normal sized meal, but your other 2 meals of the day would be smaller meals, more like a snack. So you're eating less that day to remind yourself that like there are people that are hungry, there are people that are don't have as much as we do, there are people who are suffering, who are struggling. And then on every Friday throughout Lent, we fast from meat. So we don't eat meat on Fridays. You can eat seafood. If you are someone like me who does not eat seafood, you will eat a lot of macaroni and cheese and grilled cheese sandwiches. But we do not eat meat on Fridays. And then on Good Friday, which is the Friday of Jesus' crucifixion, the Friday before Easter, we still don't eat meat, but we also do another fast like on Ash Wednesday where we eat one larger normal-sized meal, and the other 2 meals are stacks. And again, Jesus suffered by being literally nailed through his hands and feet to a cross. We suffer a teeny tiny amount by just not eating as much. So it is a really small sacrifice. I encourage everybody to do it. It really makes you think about how blessed and how lucky we are that we have enough food to eat and that we are not going hungry, that we are not homeless, and that there are people even within our own community that are suffering those things. It is also typical to give up at least one thing. A lot of people, kids especially, will try to give up a food. Like they'll say, oh, I'm not going to eat candy, or I'm not going to eat chocolate, or I'm not going to drink pop, or things like that. But I challenge you guys to give up a behavior that makes you sin. So if you are someone a little bit older, hopefully, who curses, give that up for Lent. If you gossip a lot at school, if you like to talk about people or tease people, give that up. Stop doing that. If you're somebody who's been bullying a little bit, knock it off. No more bullying. Get it together. If you're someone that has a really hard time paying attention and behaving in school, try really hard to be more attentive and respectful to your teachers and to your parents when they're talking to you as much as you can. If you're somebody that has a really hard time sharing, whether it's sharing your toys, sharing your school supplies, try to be a little more willing to share, a little more willing to sacrifice your time with something that you like to play with or something that you like to do. Give somebody an extra turn. So there's a lot of different ways that you can work on being a better person. If you're somebody that tells lots of like little white lies to your parents, stop doing that. Just try to think of something that you do on a pretty regular basis that you know that you shouldn't do, and try to stop doing that. Because giving up snacks or sweets or candy is fine. It helps to teach you willpower. It helps to teach you self-control, where you're saying, you know, I really enjoy this item. I love this thing. I like to eat this thing. And I'm not going to do that for 40 days because I love God. And that's fine by itself. But if you want to work on who you are as a person, try to pick a behavior or an action that you do that causes you to sin. I also encourage you to try to like kind of almost like a reverse fast. Add something good in. Add in a good behavior or a good action or a good attitude. Decide that you're going to pay people 5 compliments a day, whether it's a stranger, whether it's a parent, a sibling, a classmate, a teacher. You're going to compliment people 5 times a day and bring smiles to their face and be a more positive, kind person. Maybe if you're older, if you drive, you're somebody who's going to say, I'm going to go to Mass every day, or I'm going to go to Mass one or 2 days during the week plus Sundays. Pray more. Set aside time every day to pray the rosary, or set aside time every day to read a chapter of the Bible, to spend more time with God, and make an intention where you say, for Lent, in addition to giving up whatever you're giving up, you're also going to add in this specific thing. We also have prayer as a pillar of Lent, and everybody should be praying every day. Your relationship with God is built on conversation with Him. The more you talk to God, the more you trust God, the more you confide in Him, the more you tell Him things, the more you ask Him for advice, the more open and honest you are with Him, the stronger your relationship with Him will be. So you should already be praying and talking to God on a daily basis. But during Lent, we try to do that more. So during Lent, we try to have longer, more specific time periods where we say, I'm going to sit down now and I'm going to pray. This also has to do with trying to read the Bible more. People will try to sit down and say, okay, I'm going to read this many pages or this many chapters of the Bible every day. We also have very specific prayers in the Catholic Church, like the Rosary, like novenas, Divine Mercy Chaplet. We have Liturgy of the Hours. So we have all of these things that you can look up, that you can try to pray during Lent to add additional prayer time into your day. The last pillar of Lent is almsgiving. Almsgiving is a fancy word for doing charity or donating things. A lot of people, when they hear the word almsgiving, they think of money, but donating money is not even one of the most common ways that you can give. You can donate clothes, you can donate toys, you can donate books, you can donate food, you can donate your time by volunteering. So there's plenty of things you could do. You could decide that like every day you're going to pick out a clothing item or a toy or a book that you don't use anymore, and you're going to pick it out to donate. And at the end of Lent, you're going to have 40, maybe if you do it on Sundays too, 46 items that you're going to give away and donate to someone else. So try to figure out a way that you can participate in almsgiving. If you're not working yet, if you don't have any money of your own where you can give alms to a charity or to the church, make sure that you are looking for a way that you can donate an item, whether, like I said, whether it's food, clothes, toys, books, or if you can do some volunteer projects during the Lenten season. So those are our 3 pillars: prayer, almsgiving, fasting. It is also important during Lent that you go to confession at least once. Obviously, my 1st and 2nd graders listening to this, that doesn't apply to you yet, since you haven't had your first reconciliation. So you guys can just try to have an open, honest talk with God where you say, Dear God, I've done this, 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 and this. I feel really bad about it. Please help me not to do it again. But if you have had your first reconciliation, make sure that you go to confession at least once during the Lenten season, so that you can get that guilt off your chest, get that forgiveness, purify yourself, and be ready and in a state of grace for the Easter season. So the last thing that we are going to talk about in our next video is the activities that came home with you. We're going to go over those, and we're going to go over some other activities that are available for the Lent season coming up.